Naruto fandom, there are few things as agreed upon as the quote, wasted potential of the Konoha 11. How they should have been given more to do in the story, how they were forgotten in part 2, etc. And while I definitely see where the fandom is coming from, I don't agree, at least not entirely, and I want to take a moment to defend the decision to move them to the background. I also want to note that when I say Konoha 11 in this video, I'll specifically be disregarding the main trio, obviously. Anyway, when discussing this, we first need to talk about the Chunin exams, where the Konoha 11 were originally introduced as rivals of sorts. Here, along with the Sand siblings and the Sound trio, they fill in the role of the main competition, building out the Leaf Village cast, and allowing Kishimoto to highlight techniques that will play a pivotal role in the future. Obviously, the Chunin exams were a tournament arc that focused on expanding the setting, so loads and loads of characters were needed, and Kishimoto spent tons of time working on their characters and their stories. From Shikamaru's fun shadow gimmick and his interesting life philosophy, to Lee's refusal to quit and desire to succeed despite his lack of talent, to Neji's hypocritical struggle against the Hyuga family's fate. These characters do exactly what they're supposed to do in the exams before fading into the background after Konoha Crush, before once again appearing in the Sasuke retrieval arc. It's only when part 1 is truly complete that they nearly entirely drop in relevance. But there's a good reason for this. They serve their purpose. Part 1 and Shippuden are very different. While some things obviously carry over, they have some differing ideas and themes. Part 1 largely focuses on Naruto's relationship with the Leaf Village and those within it, while also hinting at societal issues that make him question what being a ninja is all about. Part 2 focuses on an older Naruto, with a greater emphasis on the worlds beyond the Leaf, the full brunt of the shinobi system's corruption, the cycle of hatred, and questions like whether world peace is really possible. These new themes require a new brand of side character. People claim that the side characters disappear in part 2, but that isn't true. Part 2 just requires a different kind of side character. People like Chio, Killer Bee, and Might Guy take center stage, all of whom are great side characters. They simply aren't at Konoha 11. And it's not like Naruto's generation is completely ignored. Characters like Gaara and Shikamaru have their moments to contribute to these themes, with Gaara learning to become a Kage, and Shikamaru learning to stop slacking and finding out what's really important. These characters finish their arcs in part 2. In contrast, most members of the Konoha 11 either finish their arcs in part 1, like Neji, who finally comes to terms with his father's past and is finally free, and like Lee, who by being the first person in the Chunin exams to pressure Gaara finally proves that he's capable of being a splendid ninja, or they never had any arc and were just quirky additions to the world, like Kiba, Shino, and Tenten. Keeping them in focus over newer, older, more global characters would have hurt the themes that the story was going for. While we can argue opinions over which of the Konoha 11 were underserved, the only two that I think were clearly mistreated are Sakura, who's a main character and thus isn't at all relevant to this video, and to a much lesser extent, Hinata, whose only purpose in the story is to motivate Naruto. But aside from them, in my eyes, the supporting characters of the Konoha 11 all fulfilled their roles, even if, on a more subjective level, I wanted to see them shine more. Especially Shino. But I'm just one guy. Maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It really helps me out, and I'll see you guys next time.